opinion, there's a lot of problems with the relationships in Pretty Little Liars. Hi, I'm Ave21, and today I'm going to be going over my opinions and my thoughts on the Pretty Little Liars Endgame relationships. What I mean by that is I'm only going to be discussing the relationships that the main liars were in during the finale of the show. That includes Ezria, Spoby, Emerson, and Caleb. Also, the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to be talking about them in order of my least favorite to my favorite. And the way I usually rank them is by how toxic they are or how healthy they are, their chemistry, and their overall story throughout the series. I don't like Ezria. Let's face it, this relationship is toxic from the beginning. It's dangerous in the beginning, all the way to the end. And I know that actually in Pennsylvania, the age of consent is 16. However, that completely gets erased when Ezra is her teacher. And also, the rules state that they can't have any like sexual interactions whatsoever. Kissing counts, making out counts, and also when he returns to Rosewood High, they're still, let's face it, having sex and all that stuff. So, yeah, breaking the law. Now, say I was weirdly okay with all that, and I was okay with the forbidden romance that they were promoting to everyone, which it wasn't. It was not a forbidden romance. For me, if I did, the thing that would be going for me, the one saving grace for Ezra, and honestly, that was kind of the only thing because I love Ian. He seemed like actually a sweet guy in interviews and all that stuff. I don't love him, but he seemed like a nice guy in interviews, so I didn't really want to hate his character. The one saving thing is that he didn't know who Arya was when he met her. He thought that she was a college student, if anything, so, perfectly legal, everything is fine. And then it's like, oh crap, okay, she's my student. But no, we figure out in season 4, he did know. And not only that, he thought that she was capable of murder, or at least her or one of her friends. And also that he had a thing with Allison, which, by the way, at that point, Allison, would have been like 15? So not the age of consent, and he was in college. So that's just wrong. And I know that he was tricked, but still, it's still like a very red gray area thing that I just can't get behind. Not only that, also to add to the troubles is Arya, every secret that she told him, he was writing it down, turning it into a book. So he completely betrayed her trust, whether he's the teacher and that's dangerous or whatever. Say it was Caleb, I'd be on the same side. I love Caleb, but if he did the thing that Ezra did, I would not like him. I'd completely kick him to the curb. I can't get behind Ezria. They don't even have that great of chemistry, in my opinion. I know some people might argue with me on that, but the most chemistry they have gets erased anyways because in my head it's no, this is a toxic and dangerous relationship that should not be promoted. And it boggles my brain that the way the show treats it is if you are against the relationship, you're in the wrong and you're just on the wrong side of things and you're evil actually and we need to get rid of you. I was completely with Noel Khan when he's like, no, we can go to the principal together, we'll tell him, and it's like, oh no, he's a creep, how dare he do that? Like, what do you mean? And I can't get behind them. I can't get behind them getting married in the end. I can't. Okay, I'm going to move on now to the next ship because I'm going to keep ranting about how much I don't like them, and I think I deserve to move on to the next ship. But just so you know, guys, seriously, this is a dangerous and unhealthy relationship to promote, and they should not be together in the end. And Arya, especially in season 4, should have gone to Principal Hackett and told him everything. Emerson is a pretty good relationship. I liked them in the beginning. Their story, the idea of them was very intriguing to me, and I wanted them to dive more into it. I do think they have pretty good chemistry. However, I'm going to break it to you right now. I completely understand your divorce in Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionist. Now, before the Emerson fans come at me, let me explain. In Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionist, it's explained to us that apparently Emily couldn't get over who Allison used to be. Essentially, she couldn't trust her. And yeah, that makes sense. Their whole entire arc, or sorry, that part of the storyline definitely goes along with Allison's redemption arc that, let's face it, wasn't done that well. I think a lot of people can agree whether or not you actually think that she is good or not. It was just done terribly anyways. So it makes sense that she didn't trust her after a while. And even in season 7, to that point, Emily didn't trust Allison. In season 7, she literally thought Allison was capable of murder or being AD. And yeah, I don't know. I can't get behind it. It was so, I think they needed more time to be a couple and all that stuff in season 7, and more time to show Emily actually trusting Allison and everything for me to actually support them getting engaged in the finale. Because, or yeah, it was the finale. They got engaged. It never sat right in my stomach because they've barely had an actual relationship up until that point. And up until that point, Emily has shown numerous times that she doesn't fully trust Allison. Plus, at the beginning of their relationship, just in terms of me shipping overall, Allison was very manipulative to Emily, and she, in my opinion, is one of the main reasons Emily stayed in the closet for as long as she did. But let me save myself here. I still like their chemistry. I still love the beginning of the story. It was very intriguing. And yes, I understand the whole, like, you finish a show and then, great, this couple's together and they're going to live happily ever after. Because once a show ends, everyone knows that, well, then they have to stay together. Nothing else can happen to them. Then you watch the new spin-off show, excited and everything, and then they tell you, oh, by the way, they're getting a divorce or they're broken up or something. It is still sad. But I don't know, I understand, and I wasn't that heartbroken over it. Yeah, but they're pretty good, and they're better than Ezria, so on to the next ship. Spencer and Toby are so adorable. They're so cute. I loved them when I first saw them on screen. I love their dynamic. I love how, in a way, it's actually really good for both their arcs, especially Spencer. Like, it's actually kind of funny when you think about it that Spencer, out of all the liars, fell in love with Toby. And I shipped them for, 2 seasons. And then season 3 happened and he went to go work for A. And that's when I fell off the bandwagon as much as a lot of people did. Because even though they were really cute and all that stuff, and we didn't want Toby working for A, we wanted him to be on our side. At the end of the day, he let her go to a mental institution. He let her think that he was dead. And saw what she was going through with that. And I know that's kind of like, well, Allison let Emily think that she was dead, but like they weren't a couple at that point, and well, it was Allison. That's my explanation. That's my defense. This is different, and or at least I view it as different. And even if you are fine with the whole he went to go work for A and was only doing it for her at the end of the day or whatever, when they get back together, their dynamic feels different all of a sudden. Their connection, I don't know, something's just weird about it. They're not the same anymore. And then I officially fell off in the time jump. That's when I was done. I was like, I'm out. Like, to the point of they made me think that they weren't meant to be together, and that's not the right thing to do. In the time jump, I kind of forgot they were supposed to be a couple, and that I was supposed to ship them. They acted more like, yeah, they had a past. They dated, it happens, and now they've moved on and they're just going to help each other in any way they can. That's what it felt like. That's all that felt like. It didn't feel like anything else more than that. And not to mention, Toby, half the scenes with Spencer in like season 7 are apparently with Alex. So that just destroys everything. I'm surprised he's even fine with being with Spencer. I'd be traumatized from that. I would never be able, I wouldn't be able to. I'd be traumatized from that experience. And not to mention, they're so mistreated in general because everyone else is like engaged or married by the end, and they're just like, we're gonna get to, we're together, don't worry, right? Like it's a passing thing in the end. And then I guess perfectionists realized they did that, so they randomly went, oh yeah, they eloped. And it's like, that doesn't make up for it. That doesn't make up for it at all. So yeah, I love them. I loved them when they first played Scrabble. That's when I first started shipping them. Like that was the moment I'm like, you guys are gonna get together. But I feel like they should have just parted ways after season 3. Like Spencer literally says, like if I saw you going through what I went through, so I thought that was gonna be the moment she's like, I'm not getting back together with you, and if anything, it's like we're gonna work together, but that's it. That's what I thought was gonna happen, and the fact that she just so quickly gets back together with him makes absolutely no sense to me. And I definitely think they should have parted ways after that, and if not that, in the time jump. If you're gonna have them broken up, might as well just keep them broken up because that's all they act like. Like seriously, I mean, everyone was messed up in the time jump, but especially them were messed up in the time jump. And yeah. And it's sad because again, like I said, I really liked them. So it just hurts even more. It hurts even more. And yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, they have amazing chemistry. I keep forgetting. I feel like chemistry for me is an afterthought, but it's not. I don't ship a couple unless they have amazing chemistry, and they do. It leaps off the screen actually, and it builds until the, you know, a thing. Not to mention in season 5 also there was a strain on their relationship again, and it was just hard to watch. So I feel like I'm bashing this couple a lot. Spoby is a very cute couple. I love Scrabble. I love their I love you scene. I loved their first kiss. I loved their story. I'm gonna up until the point that I said, but I'm not gonna mention it again because I feel like I'm just gonna keep bashing them and I don't want to bash them. So that's it. I really like Spoby. We're gonna move on to my number one. Yeah, we're gonna move on to my number one ship. Hannah and Caleb. Caleb. I am a Caleb shipper. I love them so much. I think that they are the healthiest couple. I love their story. They have amazing chemistry. They make me smile when they show up on screen. However, they are not perfect. They are not perfect in the slightest. And I'm going to go over what's not perfect about them or what would make me not ship them anymore, even though I still do. And that is Ravenswood. If you don't know, Ravenswood was also turned into a spinoff. If you only watch Pretty Little Liars, it's just where Caleb goes for the latter half of season 4. But there was a show, and that's why they broke up. That's the real reason they broke up. The writers realized it'd be really hard to get Caleb and Hannah in both stories, so they just had to come up with a way for them to break up. And the way they broke up is just so dumb and so out of nowhere. And then when Ravenswood's canceled, he just comes back anyways, so it's even more annoying. In Pretty Little Liars, it's he fell in love with another girl in one episode, by the way, because it's he leaves one episode, comes back, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, you're in love with that other girl now? Oh, right? So it's even more angering when he comes back, because then it just looks like she's groveling at his feet to get him back when he chose someone else over her. It's been a long day. But if you watch a Ravenswood, it's even stupider because he decides to be a hypocrite and not tell her that he's in danger. And I call him a hypocrite because he was all up on Hannah for keeping secrets from him about the fact that she was in danger and that he would help her and all that stuff. So, just do the reverse thing. I understand not telling her about the supernatural stuff, but tell her you were in a car crash and that someone has died. And then now add on to the fact that he let her think that Miranda was still alive, who was kind of her friend, by the way, but also stole him from her. It makes me mad because that's so out of character for Caleb. I know he would protect her, but that wouldn't be the way. It's like he forgot that, by the way, Hannah was being targeted by a homicidal, anonymous, blackmailing person who, by the way, tried to kill her. So yeah, it feels like this last minute, oh man, we need to write Caleb out of the story. And then, by the way, Ravenswood got canceled. Okay, write him back in. Like, it's really annoying. It ruined them a little bit for me. It ruined them a little bit. But I still love them. They weren't truly ruined for me until the time jump, like, every other couple for every other person. Like, why couldn't they be together? I don't get why. I have a bunch of other storylines I personally think probably would have been better in the time jump for them. Like, there was no reason to split them up other than to create unnecessary drama. And they end up together anyways. So, yeah. But anyways, let me talk about why I love them. I love their wedding. I love their how they got engaged. The parallels to the tent scene, they just make me smile. Their scenes might not be as strong in the time jump as they were, or season 7 I should say, than they were in previous seasons, but they're still cute. Tyler and Ashley are still able to carry off the chemistry. Carry off, is that the right word? Oh well, you know what I mean. You still feel the chemistry from them, and I really, really love them. Again, they make me smile. There's this scene where Caleb comes back from seeing his mom, and she just smiles, and that makes me smile. They're so loving and cute and sweet, and I seriously think that they are the healthiest couple, despite the rant I went on about Ravenswood. I really love them. By the way, the reason I'm okay with Hannah and Caleb getting back together after Ravenswood compared to Spoby getting back together after the whole working with A thing and Ezria after everything in season 4 is because Caleb never put Hannah through this emotional and mental state other than realizing, okay, we're broken up and I gotta move on. That's really it. That's all she went through. And Caleb never betrayed Hannah to some degree where even us as the audience doubt if we can even trust him again. I also love the idea that Caleb's the only one who doesn't have ties to Allison, so he really is just the boyfriend, but does get these character arcs and character moments and has real chemistry with Hannah. He's the one that we know we can trust because to not be A because he's not tied to Allison. Which, by the way, would have made it even more interesting if he did end up being A, but it would have killed the fandom. So I'm glad he's not A. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I love them so much, and I could probably do a whole video on just why I love them, and think they're the healthiest and have the best chemistry. But I feel like this video has gone on for long enough. So yeah, Caleb is my favorite ship, and they are the most healthiest, but they still have problems, just like every other relationship in this list. So those are my opinions of the Pretty Little Liars Endgame relationships. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you all next time. Bye!